The WBA used up all of their cheat codes on Mike Fox because they didn't have any to give to Manny Pacquiao tonight. Let's talk about it.
Push the weight and no flex. Flex alive is more than the six. With the runner boy, you nigga, no question. You will run a motherfucker high stepping. Hey, you never had a big enough weapon. Motherfucker never learned your lesson. I'm an 88 pack nigga. Woof. I'm an 88 pack nigga. I mean, day walker, drink blood, fangs out, full moon, motherfucker change like a hoe. Nigga. I'm just a nigga from the hood trying to stack a little cheddar for the money.
Drew Titan Bronx on deck. Shout out to the mighty LDBC. Well, in all of my nervousness, I called it right. I picked Ugas. I was pulling for him for more than one reason. But I think the major story is not that Ugas did a hell of a job fighting in the pocket, nullifying Manny Pacquiao's offense, displaying that Cuban style. The story is the WBA, in my opinion. They're under a microscope now. And if nobody batted an eye to what they did to Mike Fox, they may have tried to pull a fast one tonight. Now, normally, I don't listen to the commentary. I listen to one of the brothers, whoever's doing the live play-by-play. But, I came home kind of late because I had to work today, and I just turned it on. And I'm listening to the broadcast. And as expected, one person stuck out like a sore thumb. Brian Kenny. He was watching the fight, but he was paying more attention. You could tell that his job description was to out and out make the prized product look good, and that was Manny Pacquiao. Everything he did, every punch he threw, combinations that were all blocked, and he was missing Ugas by inches. Brian Kenny, if you just close your eyes and listen to him, you'd have thought Manny Pacquiao was winning the fight. At one point, they were talking about what the judges like to see. Keith Thurman, what the judges like to see. They like to see basically a high work rate. Punches and bunches. And he didn't know if Ugas could win, excuse me, off of a jab alone. Well, he kind of did. Manny couldn't get out the way of a jab. And he had his moments and spots where he would try and sucker Ugas into these flurries. Didn't work. And Manny stood right there. Ugas stood right there. Didn't back up, and in spots he walked Manny down. And I don't think Manny could hurt him either. He used his size. There was times where he crouched down at eye level, but it wasn't enough for Manny. Manny looked every part of his age. He did. He looked off balance at times, and that's how Manny fights. He fights off balance sometimes. And Ugas, I'm not going to say he totally trained for him, but you've seen Manny Pacquiao fight dozens of times as a professional, as a fan. You've seen him fight dozens of times. He's a creature of habit. He doesn't do anything different. He doesn't. Evidence was tonight. He couldn't adjust to what Ugas was doing with him. Ugas was throwing a looping right hand. It connected a lot. I'm like, damn. Punching around the guard. Rocking his head back with the jab. And come on, Keith. Come on, Brian. Bring generalship. Clean and effective punching. defense. That's the criteria. I don't care if the guy's more busy. Manny could have got in there and ran around the ring and threw and shadow boxed in the corner and threw like 2 flurries, like 2 6-punch combinations, 12 punches, and only land 2 of them. And every time Manny did something, the crowd screamed. But I was looking at the quality of the fight. This is why you have to watch fights on mute, by the way. But I was just listening. And I said, these guys never failed. And they threw a tweet up there, which I said, you know what? I'm glad we're not the only ones. Shout out to Damian Lillard. He said, Ugas fighting his ass off. And they trying to convince viewers that he not winning this fight. And I'm a fan of both, shaking my head. Right down here it says about 460, excuse me, retweets, 2,109 likes. Excuse me. And it was funny because the broadcasters was like, well, he's not talking about me. So he's talking about you, Brian. Yeah. Yeah. Because, Brian, your job was to make Manny look good. Every time he threw a flurry. Oh, look at that. But something happened around round 6 or 7. You started focusing on his age. And the crowd wasn't as animated as they were. You must have said Manny's age at least 10 times after the 6th round. Oh, well, he's 42. Well, and then by the time we got to 11 and 12, well, I think he needs a knockout to win. Yeah. Yeah. The truth of the matter is, I had Manny getting at least 2 to 3 rounds tops. Ugas controlled the whole fight. He fought his fight, and he didn't get suckered in the fight in Manny's fight. There was one part in the fight, I forget which round, but they got tangled up and Manny started throwing flurries. He was trying to get him out of there, but he was hoping that if he threw enough crap at the wall that something would stick. No. That Cuban style is something else, man. That Cuban style is something else. Manny better be glad that this wasn't Errol in there tonight, because Errol would have knocked the crap out of him and got him out of there. Ugas is just a different fighter. That's all. And I'm glad that bicep injury, it was something to look at because it didn't look right. It was something to keep an eye on. But I did pick Ugas, and I'm glad he won. I really am. And do you want to see Manny versus Errol now? No. And I know we don't do triangle theories here, but I don't want to see it now. Look at how Manny looked tonight. And I know we don't do triangle theories, but like I said, Manny is a creature of habit. Did he do anything different that he did against Keith Thurman? Against Juan Manuel Marquez? Against anybody he fought? That's the same Manny Pacquiao. The difference is this was his first bit of action after what, 2 years? Something like that? I saw in an article he said that he wanted to, he's still open to the idea of fighting Errol Spence. Manny, stay away from Errol Spence. Okay? Stay away from Errol Spence. Ugas racked up points and dictated the pace, stuck a jab in your face, outboxed you, and he's not that kind of guy to try and get you out of there. Errol's going to hurt you. He's a different guy. And all that mixing up you're going to try and do, he's your Huckleberry. And when you get caught, he's not going to take his foot off the gas pedal. You got hit in the body a lot tonight. What do you think Errol's going to do? Manny, hang it up. You're a Hall of Famer. Go do the noble thing in your country. You know, you're an all-time great. But at this point, your family needs to get in your ear and say, look, we don't want you to get hurt now. Enough's enough. The universe does things that we don't comprehend right away. And at the end of the fight, I was like, man, what if that was Errol? It wouldn't have went 12, man. Errol would have been a body bag. I'm sorry. No, Manny would have been a body bag. Manny would have been in a body bag. Errol would have destroyed him. Errol would have destroyed him. Um, but the WBA, yeah, they're out of cheat codes. They're out of it. So I'm sitting there, we watching it. I'm like, you know what? I'm texting with the brothers, and I'm like, you know, my brother Cali was like, yo, this is boxing, man. So if they give this to Manny, don't be surprised. And I was there, I was at peace with it. I'm like, they give him if they give it to him, I'm gonna be like, oh well, this is boxing, right? It's like, ain't it bad that, you know, when it comes to things like this, we're always like kind of like expecting the worst, but they got it right tonight because they ran out of cheat codes because they used them up already. If they got this wrong tonight, oh my gosh. But we still on the WBA's bumper, you know. Never forget. Never forget. We still on your bumper. We still on your bumper. You know, never forget. Never forget. Okay? We still on your bumper. All right? There's cheating out here, man. We gotta get things done. We gotta get things done. You know? So to the Manny Pacquiao fans, be glad that wasn't Errol. To the Bud fans, I know you wish that was Bud. I think Bud beats Manny, especially now. Especially now. That's the same old Manny. I didn't see anything new. Do you remember how Gaddy versus Ward won? That was a war. Gaddy went and hooked up with Buddy McGirt, and he was a different fighter. He boxed. Different fight in the rematch, right? Well, Manny Pacquiao has been the same Manny Pacquiao that we've seen for the better part of a decade. There's no smoke and mirrors. He looks like he's off balance. He throws a lot of lead lefts, but once you nullify all of that and stick a jab in his chest, it's over. It's over. He can be counted, and believe it or not, he slowed down. He slowed down. Is he still dangerous? Yes. He's still dangerous. But once you slow him down and put a jab in his chest, it's over with. Errol would have killed this guy tonight, man. Stop playing, man. Stop playing. But good job by Yordenis Ugas. I was concerned about the bicep, but what bicep injury? You know, it did look bad. It was a means of concern in my opinion. But hey man, he didn't mention it. I looked at it. I said, look, in my opinion, it bears mentioning. But he obviously didn't care. You know, maybe he'll say something later. Yo, I couldn't knock him out because, you know, I had an injury. Surprise, or whatever, man. But he did a brilliant job. He went in there and did what he was supposed to. I picked him to win. I'm glad I did. I should have bet some bread. I didn't do that. And I was on the fence about betting bread because of the alleged bicep injury. But good. This is a good win. I know the WBA is kicking rocks right now. They're mad. You used up your cheat codes. We're watching you now. You're under a microscope. You better get everything right moving forward. And you're not out the woods yet. But I ain't gonna say too much. All right, never forget. But shout out to Yordenis Ugas. Shout out to Manny Pacquiao. No disrespect to him. I just think, you know, like I said, the universe works in mysterious ways, and if this was Errol, it would have ended badly for Manny Pacquiao. It would have ended badly. So, good win. So I guess we're going to get Errol versus Ugas probably in early 2021. I mean, early 2022. Let's see what boxing does. Bronx on deck. Move!